Hello there everyone and welcome to my channel Program the Word. And before we start, I just like to say I hope this video goes viral because I have had 8 prototypes in which everyone, and I mean everyone, my dog, my grandma, my brothers, disturbed me. So I hope this one goes viral and everything goes smoothly. With that being said, let's get into it. So now last lesson we learned about some basic HTML elements. In this one we're going to learn about external style sheeting, which simply means styling it outside the document or the HTML document that we'll be working with. This is really useful when you want to style multiple things. It just really gives it some order and doesn't make your code too long. You could even combine HTML with CSS on the side and JavaScript on the side. So in this one I'm just going to create a new file and name it lesson 2. Lesson 2. And I'm going to create 3 elements which I'm going to style. The first element being, of course, heading 1. Whoops, forgot to put a bracket over there. H1, and I'm just going to write heading 1, and then I close that element. And below I'm going to write the div element. You know what? Let's write the paragraph. I really like that element. I don't know why. It just serves a sort of compulsion to use it. I am a paragraph. So ignore all the words that come after. Now I'm just going to use the span element. So if everything goes well, I should be able to style though. So what we have to do here, if you still remember in our last lesson, we styled it right under the title, and when we're linking them we do the same. We style it right under the title, but we're linking them instead of styling it. So suppose to link rel is a style sheet. Remember, watch out for my next video, which is the input series. I'm going to be teaching you about all the input elements and how to use them. Now I'm just going to write style.css, which is the name of the file, though it doesn't exist yet. But when it does exist, it's going to style these. So first let's save this as document.html in the Android folder. Document.html, and I'm going to save this inside of the Android folder. Save. It already exists. Oh yeah, so let's save it inside the data. Okay, let's just save it right here. And then I go towards learn CSS, which I'm going to use as a side application so that I don't mix the two. It could get very confusing with codes. You'll learn about this later. I'm going to create a new blank document and save it as style.css, which is the name which we gave to our other file. So as soon as it gets into the same directory as our file, it will start using it. So let's save it right here. And so remember, we put the h1. If you're styling the elements themselves without an ID, without a span, we just simply write their names. But the reason why we put IDs or classes is so that we can separate if there are multiple heading ones, multiple paragraphs, so that we can style them differently. That's why we put the IDs. So if you put an ID on an element, that means that its default ID, which is its name, won't work anymore. So first let's give our h1 a color red and give it a background color kind. I really love that color. I'm just going to make this go real fast because I don't want my videos to be too long and too boring. And I'm also going to teach you how to apply a background image, so please stay tuned. Let's give it the font size. Since an h1 is already pretty big, I don't think there's any reason to give it that. But let's give it the paragraph element. Once more, since it doesn't have an ID, there's no reason to really give it anything much. P element. So let's give it the color orange, which I don't really use that much. Shocking. And background color gray. There we go. And what else? Yeah, I think that's all. Some spelling mistakes here that I'm just correcting. Okay, I'm sure that if you save that it will work, but first let's style the span element. Whoops. And if you go below right here, let's give it a nice little color of kind. I really love that color. And let's give it a background color blue, which is another color which I like a lot. So is that all? I think there's one more thing that we can add to the P element. Let's give it a text shadow so that I can show you how nice a text shadow looks if it has a good color to go with it. Let's put it into the span element. Text shadow, remember it's supposed to have 3 parameters. You can put 1. Whoops, spelling mistakes, I'm jittery all over. Now let's give it 3 pixels first, 1 pixel, then another 3. So if we are to save this and go back to our file right here, should I save, shouldn't I save? I'm sure if I don't save it'll be alright. And as you can see, my span element has been given the color kind, my paragraph element has been given the color orange, and my heading element has been given the color red. So is there anything I didn't do? Yeah, I think we're alright, except that my text shadow didn't work. Let's check why it didn't work. Must have gotten it wrong somewhere. Let's give it all 333 formation. Wow, this background color really ain't working. Oh, that's why it's not working. Let's try saving it once more. 6 minutes, making good time. I'm sure that if we were to do this, still not working. You know what, don't stress over unimportant things. Next I'm going to teach you how to apply a background color before I teach you how to apply a background image. So first we're going to have to call upon the body. To style it, I write just like we do with the normal text, background dash color. Wow, spelling mistakes, damn. Let's give it the background color of green, which is a color we're not using for any of the text here, because if the background color and the text all mix, then the text won't be able to show. Okay, I think that's all we can do for now. If I am to save this file and I go back, wait a minute, something's wrong. Oh yeah, save, not save as. I'm sure that if I go back, and there it should have the background color of green, or maybe not. So it's back to the drawing board here. So what did I do wrong? Kind of makes you wonder as to what I did wrong to be able to do so for this. Background color green, which should be working, but for some apparent reason it isn't. Okay, so let's just forget about that for now. And there's the body element, there's the closing body element, which means it should work. You know what doesn't kill doesn't matter. So as you can see, I've just styled it outside of the HTML element. That's just external style sheeting. So I'm going to teach you about the one I called in-depth style sheeting. That one really doesn't matter a lot. Let's just create a new div element right here. Let's just delete this. I am a div element. Kind of speaking like a robot over there. Anyone notice that? Okay. Now we've got to go back. You see, I am a div element. So as I'm sure I must have mentioned, the div span and p element, all three of these guys all have the default size of 18 pixels, and the heading one, which is the biggest one among the headings and among any text by default, has the immense size of 30 pixels. So I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to make it even larger than its heading. And to do that, I have to apply the style, not here where it should be, but inside of its element. The only downside is that I have to apply this inside every single element I want to style. So let's write, we're supposed to change the font size. Let's make it 50 pixels. Oh, I can hear some trouble here. And you don't have to use the semicolon right there, it doesn't matter much. And as you can see, it's even bigger than heading 1. Yeah, I can see some egos crushed right here. And I give it a color. You know what? Nah, let's just forget about color. I put another element right here, span. Now let's give it the span style. Red. Whoops, ref. I am a spanner. I am a spanner. And as you can see, I've just closed span and I've given it the color red. So that's just basically how you can do those three, guys. There's the internal style sheeting, external style sheeting, and then there's this one which is just internal style sheeting but much harder. So let's just leave it at that for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you about different input types. Oh, and that one's going to be a very fun subject, so please stay tuned. And it's going to inspire a series of videos I'd like to already call the input series, which will have 10 videos which will teach you how to style and how to change the different input types that I'll teach you in the next video. So until then, thank you for watching. And by the way, my screen recorder is called Super Recorder. Bye.